Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please make sure you subscribe, hit that little button down there in the corner in order to get weekly content and videos and so on. Now, my new website is officially up now. So make sure you guys check it out, and you can certainly book your readings through that. soulworkwithjennyg.com. My old website is officially down. So I've been working really, really hard on it. And now it's finally up. Now it's finally up. So hopefully we won't have any freezes in the video today. I know there is just a glitch, but there's a lot of internet issues globally, worldwide for quite some time. There's a lot of messing around going around. That's all I'm going to say. So let's talk about these events from the 4th of April to the 10th. We're already in April. Like, how incredible is that? April is a month. Here we go again. Expect the unexpected. That's right. However, it can bring in a lot of miracles this month, a lot of huge destined opportunities. Really pay attention to what happens, especially on the 4th of April. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute here. So this is the time and the week where you're going to start to see things moving forward. Like, this is a huge transformational month, a huge transformational month. I mean, we have April long weekend, Easter long weekend coming up. You know, I almost forgot about Easter long weekend. I'm like, oh my God, oh, right, it is Easter. So it's a time of higher consciousness, like make sure that you spend the time with yourself. Don't forget about you and taking time for you, because especially when that full moon came in on the 2nd of April, first, second, you're going to find from the 2nd to the next new moon coming on the 17th, it's still connected around karmic relationships. I talk about that more so in my last video, so you can go back and watch it over again. But there's a lot of endings with karmic relationships. So karmic relationships can be with your partner, family, friends, like acquaintances, certain things like that. So really pay attention to what's not working, toxic traits. And also the universe will bring up a lot of ugliness, as I call it, things, red flags that you really got to pay attention to, because the universe truly, truly wants to redirect you. So there's going to be a lot of healing as well. So whenever you have those old memories come up, really embrace it, because the universe wants to help you heal from it, work through it, let it go, learn lessons, and so on. Really pay attention to that, because your wishes this month can come true. Yes, that's right. Pay attention. You could get that unexpected phone call, huge new opportunities. You could get that unexpected phone call. You're pregnant. You've got the job, like whatever it is. You know what I mean? So let's start off on the 4th of April, the 4th and 5th. The 4th of April is a huge major portal day. Like that day for me. And I'm like, oh my God, that for me, that's a special day of what's happening in the morning. You know what I mean? So, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I guess so. Pay attention to destined encounters that day, who you're speaking with, who you're connecting with, because that can help you transform and transcend your entire life. Like it brings in a lot. Maybe you're getting that call the day, hey, this new opportunity comes up for you. Really pay attention to that day. It can be very magical. Like, I had actually no idea. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, of all days, I'm so truly grateful. So truly grateful. So pay attention. Abundance comes in that day, success, balance, harmony, more peace. You could be more disciplined that day. Maybe you're starting something brand new that day, a new class, a new day. You're going to start building strong foundations on the 4th. So that's why I'm saying really pay attention to who you're around. It's a huge time to manifest. Like the manifesting right now is super huge until the 23rd of April. So make sure you watch your thoughts. I always wake up every morning and say some very positive affirmation, no matter what is going on in life and so on. So you could find that past connections, past people are coming back, this long weekend, Easter weekend, holidays, of course. But not only just that, past people are going to resurface. So it could be karmic relationships as well. So be very mindful of that. You don't have to get involved. Hey, let's get together, let's do this, this, and that. You don't have to do that. Just really pay attention who you're around because it can get really heated in not a good way. So just be really mindful on the 4th and the 5th of distractions. You very well could be speaking your truth with someone even more. Always have that conversation when you're calm. Like it's so easy to get really upset or angry with, like situations. But it's like, you know what? I got to calm down first. Got to make sure that, I'm in a calm state of mind before having that important conversation, especially if it might not be a pleasant conversation. It'd be a little bit more difficult and such like that. So just be really, really mindful, but really utilize this energy right now. That's why I do these videos. When we work with the energies, it works with us. Like I will plan certain things around certain days on purpose, and sometimes things just fall on certain days, like the 4th for me, like, oh my God, it's a lot of destined encounters that can help you change your life, that can help shape things into your life for the better or for the worse if it's a karmic toxic relationship. So be very careful. You can't change someone. You cannot change someone. I have people, well, that's my soulmate, but oh my God, this person, they treat me really bad. Sometimes we have to go through that in order to see our worth, in order to be like, I don't know, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. But don't judge anybody. You know what I mean? Like don't judge anybody. Please never do that. You truly don't know what they're going through. You're going to find this month you're also going to be having more reflections back on family situations. You could be healing from family situations, coming to term more, seeing your worth. When we're letting go of, situations, it can be painful when we start to see the truth and so on. We all have our own stuff to deal with. So utilize the 4th completely and utterly. You could hugely transform in quantum leaps this week. Huge, like the entire month, like the entire month. So keep a journal, even the 1st of April, let's say, or even start it today. Write every day what's happening, what's going on. Sometimes that's the easiest way to look back to see how much we've moved forward, what we've been through, what we've learned, you know, because we keep on going on and on and on, working through things, and we're like, oh my God, am I getting ahead in life? Am I like write things down? Because sometimes we don't realize it. Like when I was working on my website, oh my God, it's a really big website and there's more coming on it too with classes and such. But the hours I was working and talking to my website team, like at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, like, oh my gosh, and plus balancing everything, but there's certain things and priorities and projects that we work on, and this is a year to utilize it with the year of the fire horse and so on. So don't doubt yourself. You know what I mean? Like who you surround yourself with, you become. If you surround yourself with certain people, oh, I'm going to start doing this and this is my dreams. The second that somebody says you're not going to be able to do that, they're going to give you all of this negative feedback. You can't do that. You're all of these things. It can stop you in your tracks right there of following your dreams, maybe taking this or doing that. This is why it's important. I keep everything to myself, a lot of things. What are you working on? Projects, just stuff. Once it's done, I'll put it up. You know what I mean? I don't look at certain things. I'm just like, if this feels right for me, if it resonates with my higher self, so be it. You have to stay true to you. Be authentic, you guys, for goodness sakes. So now let's take a look at now as we move into the 6th and 7th. So because of the events on the 4th and 5th, you very well could be healing maybe from that heated ending from a karmic relationship. You're going to have more reflections, but you're going to see more clarity during this time, which is a blessing. So you could be having a hard time letting somebody go, but I love that person. Yes, but they could be very toxic for you. I don't want to let them go. You have to be ready. You know what I mean? That's why you can't judge somebody. Sometimes we have to stay in a karmic relationship or toxic situation until we're ready to let go. Don't judge anybody. I can't repeat that enough. So you very well could get triggered by some past situations still. Every time you get triggered, it gives you that opportunity to heal and move forward. Take time for you. It's like Easter long weekend, certain times. I go into deep trances, into higher consciousness, like I channel and connect with the Christ consciousness. I talk about that in my website. I've had near-death experiences, and one of my most profound one was when Jesus was standing right in front of me. So you can read about that more so on my website. But this is the time when you have to take time out for yourself, reflect, review. It's that time, quiet time, where you'll be able to think things through even more. So distractions, you're not gonna be able to think. Quiet time. Go for a walk in nature. Take time for you. When you're healing, your power comes back, you get more grounded, you start to see more clarity with things. So you could be feeling more rest. You could be like, yeah, I want to sleep more. You could be sleeping more right now, more the 6th and the 7th as well. Like you could be like, wow, I normally sleep for, let's say, 6 hours per night, but now I just slept for 12, for instance. Pay attention to your body when you need rest. There's a lot of DNA healing, letting go, healing of the cellular body in so many different levels, plus karmic relationships clearing and so much more. So it can get a little daunting at times, you know. So you're going to start to stand your truth even more from abuse. How many of you have seen a lot of people who have manipulated you, let's say? And that could be anybody. It's like, review that. Wow, this person has been really abusing me or manipulating me or taking me for granted. Ponder on that, reflect on that. Yeah, it can get painful. Of course it would. However, the gift is that you're finally seeing that now. Is it painful? Of course it is. But the gift and the blessing is to actually acknowledge that and to see that and feel that. That's when you can truly forward, work forward with that in a forward way. So 8th and the 9th, we have Mars entering Aries. You're going to be prioritizing more things that's of importance to you that needs to get done. Maybe there's certain things that you're behind on. You're like, you know what? I have to prioritize that right now. I have to prioritize myself. You want to get things done. You got to block time off for yourself. Like even my website, I'm like, oh my God, if 5:30 in the morning is the only time I can do it, so be it with certain things. You know what I mean? It just depends what you're working on and that you go on your own comfort zone, but don't give up. Like, don't give up. Have that faith. Don't push things forward. Don't push it. Working towards your goals and so on and so on. Delays can be blessings. Delays can be for your protection from the universe. So, you're going to have more courage and more confidence during this time to help you shift and move forward in a lot of different things. So, really pay attention to what you're really drawn towards right now, what you're pulled towards. How am I going to get there? Just start writing it down what you'd like to do. Leave it up to the universe. We start writing down things that we want to get done or we want to change or that we want to do. Really listen to your intuition because it's going to be a lot stronger. Like our intuition has been getting a lot stronger for quite some time. Really listen to that and pay attention. If you're very emotional or overwhelmed, your intuition, you're not going to see clarity because your emotions are a lot higher right now. So things could suddenly happen unexpectedly, like I'm saying, at any given second, any given time. Pay attention to the numbers 555. Whenever you're seeing 555, that is divine timing, that is life changes. Whenever you see certain angel numbers, pay attention to where your thoughts are. If your thoughts are like kind of like in fear mode or negative, immediately change them. That's your guides and angels saying, hey, let's pay attention to your thoughts, but pay attention to those numbers. Spirit, thank you for showing me this. I'm open to new opportunities that are positive, best for my higher self, my highest purpose, and so on. Thank you for bringing me in abundance, love, blessings, prosperity, peace within. I do that every day, no matter what. My website cost me a huge fortune. It's going to take me quite some time to pay it off. But, it's like, don't focus on this, don't focus on that. Keep moving forward. Keep your mind positive in that positive energy. Things have a way of coming together, you guys. We have to trust the process. Like, don't bankrupt yourself, of course, right? You know, go with your comfort zone. I'm a risk taker myself, you know, you'll see that on my website. So the 10th of April, let's talk about the 10th of April as well. You're going to be more creative during that time. Really pay attention. Like I used to paint and so on and so on, and I'm getting pulled back to doing that more. When I was moving away to the islands before, I gave all my easels and painting stuff pretty much away. Like you'll see certain paintings I've done on my website, and all the photos are of from what I've taken myself with my photography. So when you're getting creative insights, no matter what it is, pay attention to that. Like I gave all my art supplies away, which probably was like $1,000. I'm like, oh my God. But, a little bit at a little bit, doing this and that. It's just part of who you are. Your passions can bring you towards your destiny, no matter what it is. What you're passionate about, do like my photography for me, it's one of my passions. I'm not like no pro, but I really enjoy doing it. I've met amazing people. So you could be like, maybe I want to learn how to paint. Maybe I want to learn how to knit. Maybe I want whatever it is. Pay attention to that. You could find that you're doing more research during these days, and distance away from negative influence, like I'm saying. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking about taking a dance class, let's say. Why would you want to do that? That's what I'm saying. Somebody could stop you from signing up for some creative class or booking a flight or doing this or doing that. You're going to be more in tuned within your soul. That's where you want to be. Don't let anybody walk over you. Like it'll be the day in hell when I allow somebody to walk over me, I can tell you that. you know be yourself, be authentic. It's so important, because dark and energy will always want to attack the light beings. They don't want the positive energy. They want to keep you pulled down into darkness, into that negative mind frame. We all have our good and bad days, negative thoughts. We're humans. Look at the world events. It's not happy events, is it? Oh my God, no. But you got to try to distance away from certain things. Like I'm an activist. I will repost certain things. In Canada, we don't have no free speech anymore with nothing. I've warned people about the liberals for quite some time, but it is what it is, right? So you just got to take some time for you. You have to do that because you're still going to be healing. Keep that in mind, you guys. Why am I so emotional? You're going to find like the recession, the global recession started in November 2026, and it's going to be continued. The stock market's going to crash. So I've talked about that in my in my predictions video that I did for 2026, you can go back over my videos and see my predictions. A lot of things have already happened that I predicted. So, it's important to just balance things and listen to your gut. If something tells you something's off or not right, pay attention to that. You're going to start seeing your worth even more and more and more. I don't deserve that. Your nervous system could go way out of whack. However, you're going to find that this month, your nervous system, especially, could be coming more back into balance. It's healing. You're going to find that even some of your relationships that are authentic soul tribe, they're going to start blooming. You could get closer to your partner. You could get closer and build more stronger bonds with that. So when we're healing and letting go of the wrong people, what happens? The right people come in. That's how you know. Pay attention to that, right? So, I mean, I'm not going to put myself in harm's way. We have to deal with people every day, all walks of life, of course. Don't judge. You can block people if you want to. You don't have to associate with certain people. Don't judge. Just I'm not going to get involved with that. I'm not going to mm, you know, just walk away. Walk away. You don't have to get involved with that. Pay attention to that, you guys. You know what I mean? So really look back to January 1st. Where are you now? What's happened? How much have you guys changed? What's ended? What did you result? What's happened? What's new? Oh wow. When you reflect back, you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's so true. Oh my gosh. Exactly, exactly. That's how we know. Like, oh my gosh, when we're in the thralls of working so hard and like we can have all kinds of distractions no matter what it is. It can be really hard to see that, you know. But when you look back and take that time and space for you, that's when you'll start to see things. You're going to be like, oh, but I only changed a little thing. It doesn't matter if you changed a little thing or a big thing. It's irrelevant. Those little changes that you're making can be huge steps forward. What you're truly working on this year, it started back in 2025 and it's taking you towards 2027. That's why this year I'm working on all of my bigger projects so it can place me in 2027. So look at what you want to do. Pay attention to that. So, but it's hard. Of course it's hard. I mean, with me, it's just myself, me, myself, and I. That's it. That's it. And my little puppy Valentino, of course. He's all over my website. So, but you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Just really, really pay attention to what's happening right now. What's really happening right now. Block time off for you. Like, do it. Turn your phone off for an hour, for a half hour, for 20 minutes. Like, no matter what it is, we all have different things that we have to handle and work through. So let's take time to ask the cards a couple of questions. I don't use cards. I'm a clairvoyant psychic medium. However, YouTube, I like to pull a couple of cards to see what the messages are collectively for you. So let me know if you guys resonate with these cards. Not everyone is, of course. As I'm pulling cards, I start getting messages coming through anyways. And if there's a specific, I don't know when messages are going to come through. Even when I'm with clients, for those of you who know me and had a reading, how many times do I just start all of a sudden just start channeling and say, wait, and I'll interrupt you because I'm getting more messages from spirit. You know how I am, right? So that can happen at any given time. I have no idea when that will happen. It just happens. So let's ask the spirit world, the universe, what is the message for the collective from the 4th to 10th, especially for the viewers on YouTube that are watching these videos? What is the message for them? Let's ask and you shall receive. So no, too many cards. No. So what is the message from the 4th to the 10th? How many of you guys are celebrating Easter? What are you doing? Let me know what's going on. Follow me on Instagram, Energy Cousins. I'll follow you back. April 4th to the 10th. What's the message for us? Return. Oh. Wow. Wow. How cute is that? You see a little dog down there in the corner, like, oh my gosh, return. Past life, people returning from the past. Maybe some of you are getting a new animal because look at the dog. I'm also an animal communicator, and it was yesterday I started getting some really deep messages from my wolfhound McTavish who had passed away like back in 2014. Like the messages he was giving me, I was in tears of what he was showing me, and I'm like, oh my God, like, he's my wolfhound is one of my animal guides, and one of my animal teachers, and I talk about that on my website, mind you, but um the messages he was giving me, it was so profound. So look at this card. Maybe you guys could all of a sudden have a dream about your pet that has passed on. Maybe some of you are getting a pet. But the return card here, this is so cute, this little guy here. This return card could be like I'm saying, people from your past. A dog represents companion, karmic relationships. Be careful, people from your past. Be careful. Some people from our past, can be beautiful experiences. You know what I mean? Like there's certain people that, we don't talk to every single person we know every single day. Of course not. Of course not. However, certain people from our past, we haven't talked to for quite some time, we can reconnect with and like, oh my God, I miss talking to you. I miss you. It's been so long since we've seen each other, talked to. And it was just like yesterday I last talked to you. Soul connections. Soul connections. Of course, really pay attention, you guys. What a beautiful message. Like this little guy here is just so cute. Like, oh my God. Look at that. Oh, oh, so cute, so adorable. If I owned my own home, like even my vet when I was there the other day, we're talking, chatting, and I was talking about McTavish, my wolfhound. He goes, Jenny, he goes, I know a wolfhound breeder, and actually he's looking for somebody to adopt one of the dogs. Do you want him? And I'm like, oh my God, it just triggered me, and I just wanted to run out and get this wolfhound and adopt him, but I'm like, oh my God, I can't. I'm renting. It's too hard to rent with a large dog. It is like I've always normally had two dogs, but if I owned property, my own place, without a doubt in my mind, like I would have immediately went and done it. But it was just it was just amazing actually talking to him. Um, it was really nice connection. Felt that really soul connection with my vet and such like that. You know. So, but anyways, I'm not going to go on with it. So let's have a chat from the 4th to the 10th from Spirit. Actually, I'm going to pull this deck, talking to the animals, since we're talking about more animals and such. What's the message from the 4th to the 10th of April from our animal kingdom, from the animal kingdom, 4th to the 10th? Valentino's sleeping. A lot of times when I can do these videos, you guys, it's when he's sleeping, unfortunately, right? Um, so, you know, 4th to the 10th, 4th to the 10th. 4th to the 10th, but just really pay attention to miracles incoming. That fourth energy. Wow, I'm really looking forward to that now because I do have huge plans that morning. Um, Kingfisher, be patient and focused. Wow. Archangel Victop, I pronounced that completely wrong. BHOKPI, be patient. Yes, patience. You know, not all of us are patients. I learned how to be patient the hard way myself many years ago, but of course there's people that want things now. You can be a lot more demanding. I want things now. It's not acceptable, blah, 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 blah. That can cause a lot of problems. That can push away opportunities for you. So, patience is so important. That old saying, worth the wait. Yes, But if you push something, force something, well, this just is not, believe me, I talk to, certain people like that. It's just who they are and such like that. But, you can regret it. I can tell you that you can regret it and have regrets. Patience, divine timing, have faith is the key. Believe me, it does. I give you 101 examples why. So just stay focused, stay really focused on things, like, especially whenever you're going to be prioritizing certain things. Just write things down, your goals with certain things. What do you want to achieve? Your to-do list every day. Like I have like a diary, well, not a diary, but like a scheduling book, and it's quite big because I schedule in all my appointments and everything. And some days I'm like, is there any room left on the page? And it's quite big. I don't schedule things in my phone because if you lose your phone or your phone dies, how are you going to know your appointments? So there's certain things I do old school. So let's just pull another card here, guys. So the 4th to the 10th of April, make sure you clear your cards before you use them as well. Or if not, you carry your energy or whoever else used your cards. Share the love. Oh, I love that. I love that. This is so interesting. I'm going to show you this. It just actually brought something back for me. See this card? There's a little heart. You know, always speak from your heart. There's no reason why not to. You know, unconditional love is so important. When you're looking for a partner, let's say, in order to find the right one, you have to love yourself unconditionally in order to attract the right person to you. If you don't love yourself, you're going to attract somebody to you that's not going to love you back, or that could very well treat you like crap, some toxic partner, and so on and so on. You know, none of us are perfect, of course. There's always flaws that we have or experiences and such like that. We all do. We all do. But this is the time to heal from this. This is a little heart shaped, and it was interesting. I have a little heart tattoo that was I have like four or five tattoos myself. And one of the first tattoos I got was this heart on my ankle. There's a story and a reason behind that, of course. But how interesting is that? And it's interesting because that heart tattoo was for someone. I'm actually feeling his energy right now. Somebody I've known my entire life, since childhood, actually. So, long story. I'm not going to go on about it. But how interesting is that? Like, always share from your heart. Be honest. Like, why would you not be honest about situations, you guys? You know, the truth shall set you free. So now, if you guys want to book a reading with me, remember my new website, soulworkwithjennyg.com. Because if you go to my old website, it's gone. I actually thought it would get redirected to my new one, but it's not. It'll just say website not found. So make sure you check out my new website, you guys. I'm wishing you all a happy, happy, happy Easter long weekend. Spend time for you as well. Don't get carried away. I was going to buy a little bunny outfit for Valentino, but who knows, I might. If I have time to go out and look for one, I will, of course. But check out Valentino's page. He's on social media. Valentino 2026 888 on Instagram as well. My little baby. So until then, namaste, you guys. Have a great weekend. Until next time.